and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Today I'm starting a new 1/48 scale build, and this is going to be the latest piece for the Dead End collection from Petite Properties. And this one is Journey's End Funeral Parlour. Now this should be hopefully a very straightforward build. It's one of the smaller properties in the collection, and I've got a very definite plan of where I want to go with it. So fingers crossed it's going to be a good and fairly speedy build. Now the first thing I do once I unpack the kit is I look through the instructions. You really need to read through your instructions before you start building anything. I always have a quick read through and then I check my parts against the parts list. Now I have been through all of the thick card pieces which are back in their little bag, apart from the roof which doesn't fit in there. They're all there. They can all be put to one side for later. I don't need those yet. And then obviously I tick off the MDF parts. Now what I also do at this stage is I put the MDF parts together. I'll just move the instructions out of the way. Now this, they're just held together. There's no glue, no tape. You can tape it if you want. I'll take the front off. Now I do this because that gives me an idea of what I'm working with size wise in terms of decorating the inside and just generally how it's going to hopefully pan out. So once I've got that in mind, I can start planning my interior decoration. Now most of the interior decoration on this is going to be paint. I need to do my floors because I'm not going to be painting those, but I'm going to be painting most of the walls. The first floor room, this room here, is going to get wallpaper. I've got that sorted out. So my step now is to put all these pieces down flat, mark where the walls fit so that I can decorate the insides appropriately, and then I can stick this basic carcass together. Simple as that. I've shown how I do this on some of the previous videos, but it really is as simple as that, because this is just a and that's what happens when it's not stuck together, a flat back piece. It's really not that complicated at this stage. It's just a case of starting the interior decoration and gluing it all together. The basic build is complete. Now I haven't filmed it this time because it is the same as the others that I've done in this series. As I said before, it is basically a box at the back. The only other thing I've obviously done is I have decorated the interior. This is the basic decoration. I will add some distressing, aging, etc. as required as I go on. But this time I've gone for paint in the bottom and attic room, and then I've gone for wallpaper on the first floor. And I've also put in the the floors. These are just paper this time. I normally make them myself, but I decided in this instance this is what I was going to go for. Next step is going to be painting the outside of the main structure, and I'll probably put some paint onto the front. Now I'm going to be painting this in the darker of the shades that I've been using for these properties, but to get a nice dark finish I'm going to start off with a black base coat. So I'm going to go and do that, and then we'll see how far we can get with doing the front. As I said, I think this one is good. This is going to be a quicker project, not as many parts as I've done with some of the other builds for this. So I would like to get the front at least started in this video. And I'll be doing more of that on camera because that's a bit more interesting than just sticking the box together. I have given the front panel its basic paint coverage, which was, as I said before, black undercoat and then my dark grey. And it's now ready to start putting the bits that give it its character on. Now, the great thing about the Petite Properties kits is that there is lots of detail in the pieces. For instance, I've got my window ready to go in here, and this is made up of 3 pieces. There is an acetate layer in between of 2 laser cut card pieces, and that will fit in from the back with good luck. So that will be the inside view, and then that will be outside, and we've got another piece to go around once that's in place. So I'm going to leave that way up, and I'm just going to put some glue around the outside. Now, I've actually been putting these together because trying to speed things up. I'm really pleased with the progress I've made on this so far, and I'm looking forward to doing the interesting bit, i.e. the inside. So that goes in like that, and we just want to clear up the excess glue from around there and from down there. And you can see one window fitted. I've got the other window ready to go in. I'll go in the same way in a moment. And it's quite straightforward, the building is. The thing that takes the time is the painting. Now, I've painted these with the lightest grey of the paints that I'm using for this street scene. And to be fair, it's not my favourite. It has a very inconsistent coverage. I would not recommend the paints that I used, not in the least. And if I was going to start this again, I would use better paint. But that was what I had available at the time. So now I've got 2 windows, and I'm just going to fit the door in a similar fashion. Now again, the door has been made up of multiple pieces, layered. And I've just got to remember where I've got to put the glue, because otherwise it's going to get messy. But no, I wouldn't recommend that. I really recommend that you get a paint that's got a good amount of pigmentation, because it'll save you a lot of work. Now, I have had this in place once, and there we go. Push that in, push it down on the inside, and then we have my wonderful coffin shaped doors. Perhaps a little bit much, but it's a funeral parlour, so could be worse. We could have coffin shaped windows, although we do have coffin shaped shutters. Now the shutters go in place on the outside. Again, I'm going to pop a bit more glue. Don't put out too much at a time because it does start to go off. It all depends on the glue that you like to use. And I'm just going to pop this around the back of my frame. Just wipe that bit off the inside. That's better. And it's coming together quite quickly. As you can tell, as I've said, these kits are not ridiculously difficult. This one in particular is incredibly straightforward compared to some of them. This one is, yeah, so straightforward. It's rather nice, and it is rather nice sometimes to work on something that's straightforward. I have a habit of creating quite complicated backstories for my pieces that I then want to find a way of working in, and that can be easier said than done, especially because you then need to find the right pieces to create the story that's in your head. There we go. Now, I don't worry too much about excess glue. I take off too much, but if there's a little bit, it just sort of adds to the, dare I say it, general level of decay. Now, in addition, on the outside, we've got this little piece that covers up these two holes at the top. Now, these holes actually allow the front to fit onto the back of the building, and I'm just going to turn this round. But this little piece of trim, which again is two pieces layered, that I've layered off the building because it's just how I prefer to do it. What I want to do is just make sure that that's nice and straight and that it covers up those two holes, because that's a good part of its purpose. And the final piece is the sign. Now, I stuck with the Journey's End name for the funeral parlour because it seemed very apt and I couldn't come up with anything better. And that just goes on the front of the building. And we will pop this into place like so. Hopefully that's level. Very difficult because there's a slight degree of I don't know, is that me? I thought that was lined up. Maybe it's that window that's a little bit off. Now the final piece for the front, which is not cardboard, is the steps. And the steps are 4 pieces of MDF, and they've been glued together and painted. And I'm going to use the last of this glue that I've got here to hopefully get them into place. We'll pop some on the little bit that fits in nicely, so you know exactly where it's got to go. And fingers crossed, when I pop this in like so, my front will stand up independently, and the basic build, front and body, is now done. Now I'm going to look at the roof next. Not sure which roofing effect I'm going to do on it, but that's going to be next. And I'll just show you this, while I was painting the windows, etc., I have just put together the clock tower that goes on the top, and a bit darker than that, but I don't think it's going to hurt too much because it's going to be on the roof. So yeah, onto the roof. The roof is now constructed and has had its basic paint job. Inside, I've gone with the same storm cloud colour that I used for the attic and for the ceilings throughout the property, simply because it seemed like the most logical choice to just go with the same colour. Outside, I went with a base coat of black, intending to go over it with the dark grey and then make it look metallic from there. But I found that I had bought some black metallic paint in error and decided to give that a go, and actually I quite like the effect. It's not going to stay this pristine and black, but it's a good base. Now I've gone for a metal look roof on this property again, as I did on one of the others in the collection. And what I've done to get this look is I cut some thin strips of cardstock, and I've simply put them at regular intervals along my roof. It just gives that look that there's more texture to it, and once I've added some different colour to the roof, it will hopefully look a bit more effectively metallic. Obviously the clock tower has been fitted into place, and I gave the little roof of the clock a coat of the same metallic black just to tie it in. It's little things like that that offer a consistency across your build, and it makes them look a little bit more finished. That is the reason why I went for a simple colour scheme across the collection, so that hopefully when they're all done, although it's going to have taken quite a period of time to do them, there will be a certain degree of consistency there, and it'll look like they're supposed to be together. So all that remains now is to put the roof onto the house. Now it might look a bit strange, but if I bring this in, I will pop it at an angle. The little flat bit here goes over the back of the roof, and then it just fits in like that, and it fits in nicely, and you get a nice effect when it's all stood up. And with that, the basic build of this property is complete. Now, I said at the beginning that I hoped this was going to be quite a straightforward build, and I think it is. Obviously I need to do some weathering, etc. on the outside and the inside, but that's not going to take very long. And I think that we can actually get to the more interesting part of fitting out the interior. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like, comment and subscribe. I know I keep saying this, but it does help my channel. Also, consider ringing that notification bell, because then YouTube should let you know when I put up the next video. And since I'm quite eager to actually get on with this, it's quite likely there'll be another video on this one fairly soon. I'm not going to say it's going to be the next video, but fairly soon I'm hoping for this. And until next time, bye.